today, but I'll tell you what,
we've got real race cars.
We have indeed. Look at the stats here.
Yeah, 1.67.
Yeah, 1.67 to the 60 in the rocket lane to a 1.86. But the 8th mile, 7.13 to a 7.27. So big gains in that first quarter of the racetrack. And
tell you what, I'm looking forward
to tonight. Cannot wait. I can see Slick down there as well. He's brought out the big block. HQ tonight. G'day, Slick.
Yeah, that thing sounds. Yeah, that thing sounds nothing like a big block.
Looks like we've got a
modern Mustang down there as well, which is great to see.
They've got two of them.
HJ down behind Joe. Got the parachute on the back. Big tyres. Got some really trick cars out here tonight. We're going to see plenty of stuff happen.
I noticed that
Brian is here as well
with his Commodore. One of our Super Street competitors.
Don't forget, guys, coming up, I believe next week as well, we've got our next comp night, which I believe will be Dial Your Own. So that's going to be
that is going to make it just absolutely perfect.
But just having a look on the live stream, and apparently there's a bit of an echo. Thank you, Shane, for letting us know. We got Michael Gaps. So yeah, not quite sure, but could be nostalgia night next week. Sicko. I know that we've got a comp night coming up, and I know
it's not far away, is it?
There's a lot of our Wednesday night races that they do race at our New South Wales State Champ rounds in Super Street, or Street Fighter. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of races from our Wednesday night crowd that'll be like, you know what? Why don't I step up, have a crack, and see how I go. I've got a little Mazda RX-7 down there in the Aeroflow lane, 1.99 in the 60. Up against the Falcon, I think it was, down there in the rocket lane, and a nice 14.68 to 14.93. So, look, it's a little bit cooler this week than what it's been the last few weeks. Still hot in the sun. I even had to take my jumper off because I was sweating. So the track tonight and conditions should be perfect for drag racing tonight, and a lot of our turbo-orientated cars will probably benefit in this weather. They'll be relishing it. Speaking about relishing it, we've got Pro PR8 down there. Which is the number plate on this VF Commodore. Taking on the Commodore Ute.
That VF just shooting flames out of the exhaust and on and off the throttle.
Yeah. Probably got the big supercharged LS underneath the bonnet. And we're very fortunate. We've got a few very quick VF Commodore street cars here in Sydney. Because we know Halil Mustafa's Green Machine does a high 9 on a radial tyre. But the VF just struggling for traction. But look at him come home in the deep end. A 12.30 to a 14.24 there. For Pro.
So just get that car off the line a lot better, like 2.0 reaction, 1.8. So you get off that line a lot quicker. It's going to improve your 60 as well. And he had to just sort of baby it out there a bit. You can see the black marks off the line. But that'll show better results at the bottom end, innit?
Well, that car also running standard street tyres on the rear end of it. It's great to see Dark 69 back again. While between drinks since we've seen this car. It is a bit of a crowd favourite, this one, and a racer favourite. He's taking on the BMW SUV. Dark 69, 1.68 in the 60. I'll tell you what, this is on a pearler of a pass straight off the trailer, and running on through with an 11.06, 127, and the big BMW SUV, 1452. That's pretty respectable.
That's not too bad for a big heavy car, but Corvette, that thing cut some really good numbers. Like 11.0, he wasn't right on that then. We've seen that thing down the 10s.
Well, speaking about Brian, here is Brian. His VZ Commodore. Doing a nice strong burnout on those little radials he runs, but he's up against Donald Baird.
So having a good talk to Donald. Down in the scrutineering. He's been travelling virtually around Australia and racing at most of the tracks. So he said he spends about a month, goes out, does a couple of different race meetings and everything, and just travelling around. So, mate, he's a really well-accomplished driver.
Well, not much between those two in relation to the engine size, but obviously with the more updated rear end in Brian's car, he got the jump off the line. Now we got the Mustang, the modern-day Mustang. Mark and I have been wondering where all the Mustang drivers have been, and they're got a couple of them here tonight, which is fantastic to see, but I'm keen to see what this Utes going to do in the Aeroflow lane.
We have seen this car out here before. I sort of try to rack my brain. I think it's pretty quick.
Well, sub 2 seconds to the 60 foot for the Ute, 1.99, 7.61 to the 8th, and it's on a mission, an 1170 to a 13.91 there for the Mustang. Well, I'll tell you what, if that Mustang standard, it's still fairly respectable for that car.
It is indeed, yeah.
And it didn't leave rust all over the track.
No, it didn't. Or any other bodily parts of the car.
Yeah.
But that Ute come on really strong top end, didn't it?
Now, I can see Joe Sabello down there in the rocket lane, and he's taking on another very quick VF Commodore. But Mark, doesn't look like Joe's actually got the parachute sitting in the back of his car.
Okay.
I can see the spring flapping around.
I wonder if the belt's off the supercharger.
Maybe.
Has he... Is it on the back or not?
No, it doesn't look like he's actually got the parachute hooked up.
No, he hasn't indeed.
No, 37 off the tree.
Okay, yeah, so he hasn't got the supercharger connected.
So running the car all motor tonight. Oh, the VF spins the tyres less than a metre off the start line. 1.78 in the 60. And a big puff of smoke out of the VF right down in the deep end. And it is smoking all the way down into the braking area. So we are going to be down, I dare say, for a little while, just while our track walkers just have a quick look.
Up.
That's a lot of smoke still coming out of the car too as he's gone around the corner. So that's not really what we want to see on the first pass, but hey, that's motorsport. These things happen.
It is indeed, and it's not where you, if there's something gone wrong, where you want it to go wrong. Not down there because you're still full noise. You're just getting out of it down there, and that's, yeah, if something breaks, it's not too pretty.
Well, we're going to have a good, hard, long look at the Aeroflow lane. It is great to have the live stream up and running. The team have really dug deep this week to get the stream up and running.
Well, especially after they had that lightning strike and took a lot of stuff out. So, yeah, the guys have done a sensational job to get it all up and working and get everyone back online. It's great having everyone from YouTube and Facebook in there with us.
Well, unfortunately, guys, it looks like we will have to do a bit of a clean-up in the Aeroflow lane. I can see our track crew out there, and particularly down at the end of the track where it really smoked up hard. So,
yeah,
might be down for a little while. While that's happening, guys, obviously we've got a few little issues with the stream, i.e. we can't put ads up at the moment, which is not good for our sponsors. But but we can always also thank us.
Hang on, no, they fixed it.
Well, you fixed it, did you?
Mate, these guys are on fire, aren't they?
I didn't realise you fixed it. Yep. All right. We'll get some words from our sponsors, guys. We'll be back very, very soon. Aeroflow Race for real. Well, welcome back to Aeroflow Race for Real here at Sydney Dragway. Unfortunately, guys, one of our very quick Commodores, which we suspect is Turbo LS. Unfortunately, it had a bit of a blow-up at the end of the Aeroflow lane. So we've had to get the track crew out there. The guys are down there. I don't know exactly what's going on down there, but there is a fair bit of congregation just past the 1,000-foot mark. So Mark and I up here in the studio, we can see all the comments that are coming up on YouTube. So welcome to everybody. Of course, a lot of our regulars, Mark, have tuned in. Brad, how are you, Brad? And Michael Gaps, Shane Beekman as well. DJ Prowse, our #1 drummer from Newcastle. Hope you're well, DJ Prowse. And of course, Steve Hillman. G'day, Steve. Tuning in from the USA.
Cool.
Hey, that's cool. Right. That's cool.
Hey, whereabouts in the USA are you at, mate?
Yeah, I wonder where in the US you are, Steve. Because BA Skidder, g'day, mate. Hey, BA Skidder, I've got some news for you too, mate. I had a phone call earlier that I missed, but I have been told that No Fuss is coming out to skid tonight. Caden
wow,
and
that's cool.
Bryce are bringing the car down from Twin Lakes Automotive up on the central coast of Sydney. When they rang me, they were just coming over the Hawkesbury Bridge. So they may even be here at the track already, but we're going to see No Fuss out on the Burnout pad tonight, so I cannot wait to see that. G'day, Jessica. How are you? Now, are you here at the track this week, or are you watching from home? Here for the skids. He's tuned in from Tassie.
Wow, cool.
Well,
that's all right.
Welcome, mate. Hey, Jessica's here in the grandstand. G'day, Jess. Because now that I know what you look like.
You can't hide.
Yeah, you can't hide now. But look, it's going to be a fantastic night of racing. If you missed the opening to tonight's event, guys, of course, we've got 4 cars from No Prep Kings that'll be coming out a little bit later to do some testing, and they're big cars too. We've got slick cars. We've got radial cars. Johnny Habib is floating around down in the pits as well. Johnny, if you're not doing anything, mate, feel free to come up to the commentary box and Mark and I can have a chat with you about your No Prep Kings and your event that's coming up as well. We can find out a lot more information from you. Simon Craigs, one of the legends as well of Pro Street drag racing. Hopefully he'll be here as well. So it's going to be a fantastic night. But guys, we do have something going on down the end of the Aeroflow lane at the moment. We've got the mops out at the moment. Big thank you to our fantastic production team here to bring you all the pictures of what goes on the track. And of course, we're not going to send any cars down. It doesn't matter if it's a 20-second car or if it's a high 9-second car. We will not send a car down that track unless it is safe.
Yeah, our crew are A-team, absolute A-team. So, yeah, they would not let anyone go down there. But it's really looks like it's just at that the end of the 400 metres there, Stu. It looks like that the moment he started to come off the accelerator, and that's when we seen all the smoke come out of the car. The car still was running up and around, and they just got it at mid-track in the return road. So mightn't have been as bad as we think it is. And for his sake too, I hope it's not. Maybe it could have blown a oil line for the turbo or something like that. That's come up the way it is. We can see the car sitting down there on the return road. So hopefully it's not as bad as that. And by the looks of it, the track isn't that bad either. It looks like it's confined to a small area, hopefully. So it makes the clean-up a lot quicker.
Yeah, it certainly does. And, of course, it's not just the track either. We've got to have a look at the braking area as well to make sure that there is nothing down there that is untoward, because the thing about it, if you've never been here to Sydney Dragway before, or in particular Aeroflow Race for real, guys. You know, we've got some quick street cars here. Everyday drivers, they may not be 7, 8 second cars, but, you know, as Mark will tell you, Mark's been around the game a long time, a 10-second car is still very fast.
Absolutely. Very, very fast. 12-second car is quick. All right, guys, we might just push across to get some more words from our sponsors. We'll be back very, very shortly. Here, Aeroflow, Race for Real.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Aeroflow Race for Real. Unfortunately, guys, we had a little bit of a clean-up in aisle 1 down in the Aeroflow lane, but our fantastic track crew, they got it done, and I'll tell you what, we are back to racing. It's great to hear engines firing. And from Dialed In Racing, that looks like Brett Stutchbury down there, which is great to see. Brett here, and Mark, we've been waiting for this car to come out.
Yeah, we have been for this HJ. Just looking from the front where you can't see a parachute or a roll cage, it looks like a bit of a sleeper. But tell you what, Stu, looking down at lane 6, we've got a few good cars sitting there as well. One Capri.
Yeah, Steve McAuliffe sitting out the back patiently. We've got Po Tung in the Gas Supra. And hopefully tonight, Smokin' Joe Signorelli might come out for a bit of a look as well. Because the proprietor of Gas Motorsport. Here we go. Dialed In Racing, Brett Stutchbury, the LS1 in the Commodore, taking on this beautiful-looking 8Z.
I'll tell you what, not a lot between the two of them.
Great run, Brett Stutchbury.
Look at all the figures coming down. Only the fact that the HJ left the line that little bit too late, they would have been side by side all the way. Well, we moved over to our bikes now, which is great for the guys coming out.
Yeah, speaking about bikes, tonight we are very, very lucky. You would hear on the track mics the sound of a very angry Harley. Well, that's because we've got 4 bikes that have come from Darkside Customs.
Oh, really? Excellent.
The boys have come out for a bit of a play tonight. And if you've got a Harley and you want any customisation done, definitely give those guys a call because their bikes are very quick.
Yes.
And they are so well presented as well.
And you've only got to watch on the feed these bikes. It's all their advertising in it. It's all sitting down there on the starting line.
Well, I'll tell you what, they've got turboed Harleys, they've got supercharged Harleys, they've got some very quick, naturally aspirated Harleys as well. Keep your eye on the bike, on your eyes on the bike on the Aeroflow lane. This bike's been here a few times before, and it is super quick. And it looks like he's up against the Ducati down there in the rocket lane.
Well, big launch out by the Harley. Goes through 10.5, 141 miles an hour to an 11.0, 131 miles an hour.
Well, I don't care what anybody says. I think if you're a sports bike rider or you're a cruiser rider, you would appreciate the amount of time, effort, money that has gone into these Harleys to not only make them as quick as they are, but presentation, sound, everything about them. And look, it's great to see Darkside Customs back here at Aeroflow Race for Real. Hello to the panel van man. G'day, panel van man. How are you, mate?
Well, I think Panel Van Man needs to get his camera out, take a picture, because we've got a Commodore being towed back. It's not very often it happens.
No.
So, you can hang that one on the sideboard.
Ben's not a commentator, he's a production bloke. So I don't know what you're going on about. Not that I really take much notice.
Oh, well, a great launch out by the Harley. A .031 on a good charge. 10.5, 140 miles an hour to an 11.4, 126 miles an hour.
All right, from Dialed In Racing and TD Motorsport, we've also Michael Richards down there on his A-modified bike, Suzuki ZXR 1000. Now this
looked into the Burnout.
Yeah.
The GT 750 Suzuki.
Yeah, that's Brett Copping down there. Now, Michael Richards, an 0.44 off the tree, 1.35. This bike has gone 8.98 on this surface, on this street prep. And a 9.06 with a 2 at 1.46 straight off the trailer.
And 10.7, 133 miles an hour, but a 1.35 from that bike, Stu. That is just absolutely rocking it out of there. But keep your eye on the Suzuki down the Aeroflow lane.
Well, I can tell you, Sicko, that Ben is here. He's down in the viewing area. Because we don't really... Ben doesn't like to get on the mic, Sicko. He's really in his production. But Brett Copping, 0.009 reaction time and running on through with a 12.23 to an 11.09.
Very unusual for that bike. It's usually in the 10s. He seemed to back off mid-track. Just...
well, I wonder if they've changed anything on the bike.
Don't know.
Maybe a slight change. But here's his brother coming out now, Shane Copping, on the Kawasaki H1 500 in the rocket lane. Brad saying that VF Commodore that blew up must have had a Barra conversion.
I do agree.
Well, I can tell you, Brad, make sure you keep watching the live stream, mate, because we've actually got a Barra conversion in a car out the back that is super quick, and it is going to be part of No Prep King. So keep your eye on that. That is coming up. But a little bit of liquid on the start line. The boys just doing a quick little mop, maybe just a few little bits of oil that have come out of it. Happy 8th birthday to Alina, who's
Happy birthday.
Up with Jessica in the stands. Happy birthday, Alina.
What a way to spend your birthday. Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget, if you're in the grandstand, guys, you can go for a walk through the pits. It doesn't cost you anything to go for a walk through. And as I mentioned, we've got some big cars out the back. So take the opportunity while you can to go down and have a chat with the drivers and find out a little bit about their car. Maybe get a photo standing in front of the car.
Yep. Yeah. All our competitors out there are just a friendly bunch of people. They're more than happy to have a talk. Wow. The bike down in the rocket lane.
Yeah, it's a G Caddy.
Is that? Yep.
Yep. Looks like a G Caddy from up here, judging by the size of that rear tyre and the number plate that's on it. I'm pretty sure he was here last week as well. So it's great to see our motorcycle riders are really out supporting Aeroflow Race for real tonight. Of course, it's a big, big part of our New South Wales State Championship Series here in Sydney as well. Street bike and modified bike, two of the biggest classes. Well, 0.139 on the tree in the rocket lane, a 0.451. Not too much between them. I think the bike in the Aeroflow lane might just get it. Yes, he does. A 1061 at 138 to a 1226 as we're back into the cars. And we've got this great-looking little ute down here in the Aeroflow lane. And he's taking on Dave Muscat in the Mighty Mini. Not a problem, Jessica. It's our pleasure. I hope Alina really enjoys the night.
Yeah, I think she will. There's plenty of exciting cars out there.
And there's some pretty good birthday food up there as well, because we've got Joe's Ice Cream up the top there. And we've also got Denise with her beautiful donuts.
Yep, nice milkshake and a donut.
Absolutely.
Hey, can't beat it.
All right, we've got one of our Audi RS3s down here in the Aeroflow lane about to take on the Falcon. G'day to Andy. G'day, Andy. How are you, mate? One of our photographers here at Sydney Dragway. Of course, Mad Car Media are here as well. G'day, Mad Car Media. Going to be a big night of burnouts a little bit later on tonight.
Well, Barra just starts winding it on through the top end. 11.0, 136 miles an hour to a 12.3 at 113 miles an hour.
Oh, we've got the Mercedes about to take on the FG Falcon. Now, the Mercs have been a little bit quiet the last few weeks.
Yeah, we've had some really quick Mercs come out. I think they just come out, show everyone up, and then go home. Smile on their face. Well, Merc goes out a 189 in the 60. 12.2, 111 miles an hour to a 13.1 at 113 miles an hour.
All right, the Mazda RX-8. A car these days that, well, number one, you don't see a lot of them on the street, let alone see them here at the drag strip. Most of them have been turned into race cars. And he's taking on King 4 Litre down here in the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, the XE Fairmont gear.
All right, well, the Mazda, a little bit of an issue getting that car off the line, which tells me it's a manual. But King 4 Litre off around half track, but 6.65 at 89 miles per hour for King 4 Litre.
12.6 at 67 miles an hour, which tells the whole story. And 18.2 at 84 miles an hour for the Mazda.
Yeah, my apologies, Michael. Yes, it is a Suzuki, but it's a Hayabusa. My apologies, mate. Oh, it's good to see the A90 Supra back.
It's up against the MG. Right, in the meantime, we've got the Honda and I think it was an Astra down there.
Yeah, and the astronomical, a 1640. I don't know if they were astronomical, but, you know.
I know what they were, but they didn't mean those words.
Well, to be brutally honest, I never actually got the opportunity to drive one. So, you know, I had an 87 Astra. It was my first car, but pretty much that was a Nissan in disguise. But let's see what the Supra does. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, we've had the Supercar test day over the road, but we've got a real Supra out here on track, 1.75 in the 60. And in the rocket lane, I'll tell you what, that SUV is not going too bad out there just quietly. And the 1180 at 113. I wonder if that's electric.
I don't know. It's not what you'd expect out of an MG, is it?
No, which kind of tells me that could be one of the electric ones. As we've got the i30N back again this week. Great to see him back. That's 2 or 3 weeks in a row now that car's been here, which is fantastic. Taking on the Subaru WRX. Yeah, Brad, we do have a photo. There's a picture. There you are, Brad. That's how many cars currently are lined, and bikes that are lined up out the back.
Yeah, they usually, we usually get a good turn up 7 o'clock onwards.
Yeah.
Is the usual.
Well, the Subaru WRX, 2.09 in the 60. The i30N, well, he got the jump with the reaction time, but the WRX has driven around him just before the 1340 mark
And a 12.55 at 115, that's a really, really good cracking pass there. As we've got a BMW about to come out, and he's taking on the R33. Now we're just checking the end of the rocket lane. We're just having a look on the camera angle. That BMW mark's got a tiny little scoop on it, and part of the headlight's gone, which tells me it's turboed.
Yeah, indeed. I did see it sitting on the trailer, so it was trailered in.
Oh, okay, rightio. Well, let's see what he's got for us. He's taking on the GTR.
Yeah, Skyline's just gone round the water, nice and sedately, just rolling into stage.
Now this BMW is staged not in the centre of the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best place to be. You would rather be in the centre of the track where you're going to get 100% of the traction.
Sicko, the red car in line 6, if you're talking about the one at the very front, that's Joe Sabello's Datsun Skyline with the supercharged LS underneath the bonnet, although he's not running the supercharger tonight. He's just running the car naturally aspirated.
I do wonder whether he's just had another motor in it. Because that's usually what he does. He does a motor and he'll run it for so many meetings to just bed everything in, and then connects up the supercharger and hang on to your hat, away we go.
Well, the Falcon had a red hot go at the lights there. 0.003 red. Wasn't too far off. The R35 GTR cruising on through with an 11.62. Geez, they just do it so easy, don't they?
Yeah. Look at the reaction time. That's trying.
That is trying. Well, all right. Well, we've got the street version of the Supra out on track in the rocket lane.
We've got the big two-door Valiant.
How good does that Valiant look?
Clean, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
These things with the V8 in it, as they started getting older, they used to crack down through the chassis rails. From
Right.
Yeah. A little bit too much grunt and a bit too much flex in the front of them.
Well, unfortunately there, he's tried to put it into the stage and has just rolled the beam.
Pushed
so
him
just
through, yep.
Back him back. But I'll tell you what, this Supra down here in the rocket lane, now I'm not sure if this one will be turboed or naturally aspirated. They did come out both.
Yep.
But the 2J underneath the bonnet. And there's been a number of very quick Supras with this body shell. Thankfully, you've got one here tonight, actually. We'll see Po Tung out very, very soon in the gas Supra. Oh, the Valiant! Big turn of the tyres. He was slightly to the right of the centre of the track, and the Supra running on through with the 12.23 and the Valiant with a 15.29.
A little bit smoky down the bottom end of the track as well. Well, here's your RX-7 back out.
Yep, now we're just got to check the track because it looks like that they picked up maybe just a few little spots of oil just off the start line, which is looks like that has contributed to that Valiant getting a little bit happy off the line. But RS5, this gentleman absolutely loves his off-street drag racing, and he's put a little bit of money into this car as well, and it shows on the track.
It does indeed. I think it might have been a lot of money. This thing really does perform well.
We got Charlie Grimer, the EH Holden R32 Rat. G'day, Charlie. How are you, mate? Yeah, I agree with you, Brad. The Supra. We got Steve McAuliffe with shift right Cannot wait to see that car of his. But the Mazda and the Audi are off the line. 1.83 in the 60 for RS5 and the little Mazda RX-7. Looks like he's backed it right off from about half track onwards.
Yeah, it does indeed. 11.3, 120 miles an hour for the Audi, and 17.9 of 56 miles an hour. Yeah, the miles an hour tells you straight away, doesn't it? Backed out of that way early.
All right, the Volkswagen Golf. About to take on another Audi. I'd like to say a big good evening to Ross, one of our number one spectators. G'day, Ross. How are you, mate? Good to see you here again this week. Well, the Audi 1128, 1197 there for the Golf as another GTR makes its way out, taking on a Golf. That Valiant looks sensational on the return road. Tell you what, if you're down in the grandstand, that'd be perfect camera shot right now.
Yeah, it would indeed. Decent bit of rubber under the back of it as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, big turn of the tyres out of that Skyline, still wobbling around, 2.06 in the 60. And a 10.98 with a 9 at 136.
Imagine how quick that thing would go if he can get that 60 better.
Well, I actually thought it was going to go sub 2 seconds to the 60, but the way that turned the tyres and just moved around laterally, it hampered him a little bit, but damn, that's a quick car. And we got this white VF Commodore back out in the rocket lane. The Ute had a big, hard stab at the lights.
Okay.
Well, VF just chewing up the track. 11.9, 125 miles an hour to a 14.0, 103 miles an hour.
All right, from Dialed In Racing, we've got Brian down on track in his Commodore.
He's up against the BMW SV.
Yeah, great to see a few of the races from Dialed In Racing here this evening. Supporting Aeroflow Race for real. And a big thank you to Aeroflow Performance for their continued support of off-street drag racing here in Sydney as Brian gets off the line with a 1.76 in the 60. That looked great. Of course, it's got a new rear end in it, or recently new rear end, and it's definitely helping the car. And a 12.39 at 111.
And 14.4 at 95 miles an hour.
All right, we've got Donald Baird down here in the Aeroflow lane in the Calais, but he's taking on a VF Commodore, which has got a number plate mark, all PSI.
Okay. Well, a lot of people would remember Donald from when he was riding the bike.
Yes.
He rode that for a long time, done a real lot of racing all around Australia. And, yeah, got to the stage where he couldn't ride the bike anymore. So now he's in the Calais and doing just as much racing, but on four wheels.
And it's only minimal mods in that car too. It's only got a OTR in it.
It's all just bolt-ons.
That's all it is, yeah. But for Don, you know, it's not about going super fast. It's about consistency.
Yes.
And a 12.92 with a 7 at 109. Ford Haters is back again this week, Mark. The black VF GTS.
Okay.
Great to see that car back 2 weeks in a row.
Talking about Fords, I was having a good old yak to Paul Galvin yesterday.
How is Galvo?
He's going well, working on his house up the Central Coast, enjoying his retirement.
Well, I'll tell you what, he'd hopefully be watching the live stream because we've got a couple of Mustangs that are about to come out. But Ford Haters out with a 2.29 in the 60. And that manually shifted RX-8. Doing the chasing in the rocket lane. 12.45 there for the VF. And a 15.93 as two Mustang GTs come out. Now, one thing I'm interested, Mark, look, I know
there's that stigma if you own a Mustang, it's got to be a V8.
Yes.
But having said that, those 4-cylinder Mustangs, from what I've heard, they are very, very good when it comes to tuning them.
Yes, they can. They develop a lot of horsepower.
Yes. Well, the two Coyotes down the track, 1371 in the Rocket to a 1331 as Dark 69 comes out. But we've got a fair bit of liquid that's come out of those Mustangs. Just to all the racers, guys that are out the back, just please make sure that the air conditioning's on. Yeah, we've got Adam downstairs just testing out a new camera which we hope to get up and running for Aeroflow Race for real. Coming to you direct from the air. And look at the rubber on the back of King 393 as Dark 69 gets out with a 1.63, 1.86 though for the Ute. And Dark 69, he gets there, and 11.08.4 of a second for the win. Now, Joe Sabello back out, running naturally aspirated tonight. Both cars running big rubber.
Yeah. This Falcon is just really mint. As I was coming through the gate, I was beside him. Jesus, a nice looking car and sounds real cranky.
Well, Panel Van Man, I hope you're watching the screen, mate, because King 393 is about to come out. All right, just our IHRA officials just having a quick chat to Joe. All right, guys, we're not too far away from getting into some of the cars from No Prep Kings. I can see one of the crew from Steve McAuliffe's Big Tyre Capri about to come out. Steve's sitting below us. All right, well, King 393, 1.62 in the 60, nice and straight down the Aeroflow lane. And in 11.26.7, 121 miles an hour, so still a lot more left in that car, I reckon. All right, guys, we're going to get into some of our more serious cars. We've got Stephen Scopoliti in the Holden HQ, 454 cubic inch big block. And he's taking on Stephen McAuliffe from Shift Right. He's got the Capri. Now, Stephen will be running to the 8th mile, I believe, just to get some data. We see Johnny Habib down there with the camera. Johnny doing some live streaming for the No Prep Kings Facebook page. Otherwise known as Split. Steve's going to do a full quarter-mile pass. And Stephen McAuliffe down there in the Capri. I dare say he'll only do a half-track pass. Steve's car's designated for Soup Sedan.
This is the one I want to see.
Yeah, John Elves in the CMV Performance and ProTrans
That
VT
Commodore.
Oh yeah, it is quick. All right, Slick out with a 1.56 in the 60.
Oh, little puffs coming out from under the car. 10.5, 130 miles an hour.
That's a much better pass there from Slick.
How many crew?
Right.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mark, we've seen this car many a time before, John Elf's car. It's gone very well down through the 8th mile. But this is on a street prep too. So Stephen McAuliffe down there running the big slicks.
Yeah, well, this VT, we're seeing it cut some really good times on a street prep track too, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Now, to put it in perspective, guys, these cars that are coming out are part of No Prep Kings. They are only testing tonight. They're only going to the 8th mile, but they should do the 8th mile in 3 seconds or 3.5 seconds, depending on the particular car and if they can get it down to the track. So this is exciting. I'll tell you what, if you're not here at the track tonight for Aeroflow Race for real, there is something wrong with you. Why would you want to be sitting at home? You'd rather be here at the track.
Okay, they're just having a look around the car. So you probably find these guys won't give it an all up hit. Oh, jeez, I could be wrong.
1.24 in the 60 for Steve McAuliffe. 5.62 at 122 miles per hour there for his first pass off the trailer.
I thought they might just roll out and just feel the track out first.
Nah, they're drag races.
Nah.
Nah. Of course, a lot of these cars well over 1,000 horsepower, but it's about trying to get it to the track.
That's it. And I tell you what, that Capri left the line really good. Wheels in the air.
And of course, tonight is all about data.
Yep. I'm a bit torn here, Stu. Commodore, Supra.
Yeah, I am too. 2J
Yes.
with a little bit of nitrous on board, although I'm not sure if Poe's running the nitrous. But of course, if it's got a CMV performance sticker on it,
Listen to that.
yeah, you know it's going to be quick. Now, I believe that both these cars are on radials. I know for a fact that Poe's is definitely on radials. Not really sure about John's car. When I had a look at it down in the pits, it looked like it was running radials.
Yep.
But you see Con just guiding John back into his burnout marks. Of course, C&V Performance, they've been around the drag scene and the street scene for decades.
Yes.
And you know that if they've got a car has got that sticker on it, you know it's going to be super quick. And generally, they're very reliable as well.
Oh. They are just absolutely pedaling out of there, aren't they? The C&V car, just look at the tracks where he's just touched it, off it, touched it, off it.
Yeah, I actually had my eyes on Poe's car. Because, man, that thing got sideways.
Didn't it, what? Yeah.
All right, panel van, man, it is time for some barra power. Of course, this car was out here last week.
Yep.
They tried to do some testing. Unfortunately, we didn't get through the night. So for these guys, pretty much coming in with a clean slate. Now, I'm interested to see what this car will do, Mark, because it's probably one of the smaller cars out of the four. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Didn't that leave the line and just dead straight down the track?
That car is so well set up. Well done to the whole crew.
Yeah, absolutely. To all those guys, the crew from all those cars.
Yeah.
Just to get those types of cars down this track is an absolute massive effort.
All right, Brett Stutchbury from Dialed In Racing. Out now in his Commodore. One of our Super Street competitors, as you can see by the sticker, Top Fuel Street. They've even got the street sign for the New South Wales State Championship Series.
Yep.
And 1.59 to 60 for Brett. And a nice 9.54 to 147 miles an hour. That's more like it.
Absolutely.
All right, Mark, we've got the big ZX14 down in the rocket lane. Oh. Wow, 9.8s both sides of the racetrack.
Don't get much closer than that, do you?
That is fantastic racing. It really is. I'll tell you what, the motorcycles usually turn it on when it comes to side-by-side racing. We've got one of the Dark Side Harleys out track. Oh, right it, son. Out there in the rocket lane. And the Aeroflow lane, 10.098 at 142.
And 10.8, 131 miles an hour. Look at the reaction times. Absolutely nothing between the guys. They are just absolutely got their race face on tonight, haven't they?
I was just looking at the 60 foot. I mean, there's only 300ths of a second between them.
Yes.
To the 60. G'day, Mandy. Welcome to the live stream.
10.5, 136 miles an hour for our rocket lane to 12.3, 112 miles an hour.
That car coming up, return rate. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. That is some really, really cool driving and a great car. Oh, man. Tell you what, guys, keep your eyes on the No Prep Kings Facebook page because I reckon it's going to be one hell of a series.
Oh, I reckon you're right. Absolutely.
All right, with the Ducati in the Aeroflow lane, 2.27 to 60. Unfortunately for the bike in the rocket lane, looks like he might have just stalled it.
Yeah, he's got it going now. But the bike in the Aeroflow lane was sort of right outside, not in the area where you want to be. You're right out of the race line, aren't you?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. Sometimes the bikes, I don't know, for whatever reason, sometimes they do that. They stage slightly out of the groove.
Yep. CMV Commodore coming back up the return road.
Yeah, Brett Stutchbury coming up the return road. Great run, Brett. That looked great, mate.
(10.6), 138 miles an hour to an 11.5, 127 miles an hour. Well, great reaction time for the rocket lane, 0.055. It goes through for the win, 10.6, 133 miles an hour to an 11.6, 117 miles an hour.
Potung coming up the return road in the Gas Supra. Hey, mate, that was a wild ride. I love that car.
Absolutely.
Love it.
I must say that was my two favourite cars for the night. Just lined up side by side. Doesn't get any better.
Well, I'll tell you what, if any of the old APSA competitors happen to be tuning into our live stream on YouTube or Facebook, hey, guys, get the cars out. Look at the fun that the guys are having.
Yeah, absolutely. They do nothing when they're sitting in the garage.
Oh, that bike almost got away from that rider in the Aeroflow lane. He hung onto that really well. 1.87 in the 60. A nice 10.68, 134 good miles an hour.
And 13.3 at 112 miles an hour.
All right, Michael Richards coming out now on his Hayabusa. I do apologise to Michael. This bike's gone the best of an 898 on this street prep. This bike running a radial tyre on the rear end of it as well.
Oh, great reaction time.
Just the way he rode it too, because the bike was leaning 1.35 in the 60 and a nice 897, 147.1 miles per hour there for Michael Richards. Wow.
Great pass. And 12.6, 106 miles an hour for the rider in the Aeroflow lane. We got the Falcon up against the Mini. One of our regular races, Dave Muscat.
Yeah, a few of the boys that tune in just about every week on YouTube, they call it the Maxi. But the Falcon, big turn on the tyres off the start line. Dave Muscat, though, .009 on the tree. He's got his eye in a bit better this week.
We have. He probably needs some money. Once the money gets up, so does Dave.
Well, he can probably see that Joe's here too. So, and there's a lot of other races out the back that are capable of cracking a 000. And the first driver or rider in a street-registered car that cracks 000, well, they're going to be walking away with a nice wad of cash. We've got to battle the Datsuns. Joe Sabello in the Datsun Skyline.
And goes through 11.8, 117 miles an hour. 19.1 at 69 miles an hour. We've got the Mercedes-Benz. And the XE Fairmont gear.
Yeah, this XE Falcon gear, I tell you what, that last pass mark was an absolute cracker. And it was the first one off the line, off the trailer, sorry. So I expect big things out of this car.
Just leaves the line so well. Just gets out of it early too.
Yeah, well, I've got a feeling he's only testing the 8th mile because he went 6.38 at 102 miles per hour. So whether he's just testing that first half of the racetrack to get the suspension set up in the rear end of that car, what RPMs work for him, as we've got the Astra about to take on the Falcon.
Yeah, I think as the night goes on, we're going to see some really good passes out of that XE. (16.1), 86 miles an hour to a 13.0, 115 miles an hour. MG down in the rocket lane up against the Audi.
Yeah, the Audi A1. It might only be a small Audi, but I'll tell you what, it is quick for what it is. But that MG down there in the rocket lane.
Well, kind of nice little lower levers taken past previously.
I was going to say 1.80 in the 60 and an 11.84 to a 12.43. I think there's still a little bit left in that little Audi. Guys, just to the people that are watching the live stream on YouTube, we are trialling a few things tonight. We are trying some new equipment to bring the action a little bit closer to you guys, particularly from the ground. So we do apologise if the screen does come up a little bit fuzzy. We have just been trying stuff. All right, we've got to battle the imports. Of course, the car that will base the new Toyota supercar, the A90 Supra, down on track in the Aeroflow lane. Of course, Walkinshaw and Andretti United, tasked with homologation of that car for the supercars.
Yeah, I did see when they done the release of what the new race car is going to look like. It looked great, didn't it?
Oh, it looks sensational. And I did mention earlier too to a lot of our guys as well. It will be very interesting to see what that car sounds like, because even when you go to the track and you hear, and you don't even see the cars, you hear the Camaro and you hear the Mustang, you can differentiate between the two cars of what's on track and what isn't.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see what the Supra sounds like. Now, if it sounds anything like the Mercedes or the Volvo, it's going to sound wicked.
Yeah, yeah. Well, where are they pulling the V8 from? Is it from the Lexus or?
I think it might be, actually. I think it is a Toyota block, but I'm not sure if it's a similar one that they're running in NASCAR.
It is, yeah. Okay. The Tundra one. Yep.
Yeah. So it will be very, very interesting to see what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited for it. I'll be brutally honest.
Look, the more cars that run in the supercars, the better it is because it creates traffic. And that's what it needs. Like, I'd like to see more classes involved, like it used to be back in the earlier days where you had not just one class running around the track. You had a couple of different classes and lower classes that did create that traffic and those blocks and traffic blocks that the guys had to use their driving ability to cut through.
I'd love to see one car from each team with supercars come over here on a Wednesday night, Aeroflow Race for real, and put it down on the drag strip.
It would be good. 3
round, and see which V8 supercar driver is the best driver in the drag race. Because Chaz Mossad, sorry, not Chaz, one of the boys is taking his Mustang over onto the Speedway.
Oh, really? Okay.
Cam Waters it is. So, you know, they're going to trial that. But it would be really cool if we could, in the future, have a balls to the wall drag car, Supra, and of course the supercar. I mean, not only would it be a fantastic photo opportunity, but we are yet to see someone bring their Supra out here to the drag strip, and let's see what see what they can do. No one's really spent the money on them yet.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with the Mustang for whatever reason. We haven't had a lot of high-powered Mustangs out here for a while.
There is some good ones out there. But yeah, you're right. We haven't seen anything out here yet. It'd be interesting to know if in Australia we've got any of the Mustangs running with the Godzilla motor in it yet.
Yeah, that would be... well, I haven't heard anything. I don't know whether anybody who's watching via YouTube or anybody that's here at the track
I know we've got we've got some in earlier Falcons and stuff, and a couple of different cars. But yeah, I really haven't heard anything with the Mustang. So.
All right, the VF Commodore sounding nice and strong in the burnout.
Well, 10.7, 128 miles an hour for the Aeroflow, and 12.8, 123 miles an hour. Say, is it 626 or 929?
Yep.
Haven't seen one of them for ages.
No, I heard a rotary sitting below us, but looks like he's been turned around. So maybe a little bit of an issue.
Well, hopefully they sort that one out. I'd like to see that car come out. But in the meantime, we've got the BMW. (15.1), 101 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Well, Skyline up against Skyline. Or should I say Nissan against Nissan?
Well...
One Skyline and one's GTR in it.
To be brutally honest, there's a little bit of conjecture about that. Yes, they technically are both known as Skylines. But when I did GTR Festival a number of years ago, I got corrected that the R35 is just a GTR.
Yep.
It wasn't a Skyline.
Yes.
Whether that's right or wrong, that's just what I got told by a senior commentator. So I left it at that.
So it's just easier, Nissan and Nissan.
Yeah, I just say R35. And when the 32 comes out, it's Godzilla. All right, we've got the Supra. The earlier model Supra out in the Aeroflow lane, about to take on the EL Falcon in the Rocket lane.
They're just not round anymore in that condition, are they?
No.
Hard to find and a lot of money.
Absolutely, especially the super duper expensive ones. The Valiant is back out. And taking on the Volkswagen Golf.
Okay, just waiting on the Valiant to roll in and bring on both lights in the stage. Well, Valiant gets out nice and clean. 0.7 reaction. 2.23 in the 60. A little bit smoky again from the back of that car down the bottom end. 12.9, 115 miles an hour to a 12.7, 105 miles an hour.
All right, guys, dare say we're going to get our track walkers out on track, jump in the Aeroflow lane, and just double check that there was nothing coming out of that Valiant. I thought it might just be breathing heavy, but, you know.
Yeah, it was a little bit more smoky than was the previous pass, just getting a little bit bigger. Yeah, definitely something to be keeping an eye on for sure.
Now, Sicko, if it isn't a Skyline, why is it named R35? I don't know, Sicko. As I mentioned, that's just what I got told by a senior commentator.
Yeah, I've been told the same thing, that it's not a Skyline, it's GTR.
GTR?
Yep.
Well, maybe a little couple of spots of oil on the start line, the Aeroflow lane. So, yes, maybe the Valiant was dropping just a wee bit.
Yep.
Yeah, Gun R Triple X. Affectionately here in Australia, the R32 was nicknamed Godzilla from when they used to race a car at Bathurst in the touring cars a number of years ago.
Yeah,
and that's what gave them the name.
Yeah, the twin turbo version.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how they got the name Godzilla, because they pretty much decimated everything off the track. That's how they got named it, and that's why a lot of the fans back in the day didn't like it.
No. But they were a weapon of a race car.
Absolutely, they were, and you know, they were built. Some were built overseas. The ones we had here were, you know, just goes to show the Australian ingenuity too, because you got to think back in the day too. You know, you had those GTR R32 GTRs, which just decimated everything.
Yep.
Then on the flip side as well, you had Dick Johnson with the Ford Sierras.
Yep.
I mean, still to this day, people say they were the best Sierras ever built around the world. Were built by Dick.
Well, a lot of those ended up back over in England.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, a lot of collectors have got them over there. Yeah.
Jeremy Boscovich. Hey, Stu, my brother. Jared is coming out on his turboed E85 MT09. Should run pretty hard. Oh, that sounds sensational, Jeremy. Good to hear that you're here at the track too, Jeremy. We'll have to catch up if we get the chance, mate. G'day, Corey. How are you, mate? Welcome to the live stream.
Okay, just rolling the Golf out and bringing him back in just to reset the computer.
Tell you what, it's great to see a few more Golfs pop their head up tonight as well.
Yep.
Tell you what, 1.85 in the 60. Now, we have seen these street-based Golfs run into the 10s. And an 11.41 to an 11.23.
All right, we've got another Golf. Just rolling back out up against the Mercedes.
Corey, I'm not 100% sure how many Burnout cars are actually going to hit the pad tonight, but I do believe, Corey, that No Fuss from Twin Lakes Automotive, I believe that Caden will be skidding it and Bryce will be skidding it as well. So it'll be out twice. I'm not sure who else. And it's only because I haven't been told.
11.7, 115 miles an hour to a 15.3 at 91 miles an hour.
All right, the Mazda RX-7 down the rocket lane, taking on the Ford Laser. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb, Mark, but I'm pretty sure this particular model of Laser, this is the first time I've ever commentated one going down the drag strip on a Wednesday night.
Okay.
I can't recall ever seeing this model. So an 081 on the tree there from the Mazda.
Okay, you got a few bits and pieces falling off the Ford.
Well, that's not unusual.
We get used to that.
Oh, how cool is this? Look up your daughters. The panel van is out.
The XF panel van.
That is seriously cool. Hey, panel van man, if you're watching the live stream, check this out. This is seriously cool. Taking on the Mazda 3. That is awesome. Love the white tyres on it as well. The white walls, that is seriously cool. I like that. Oh, not a problem, Jeremy. Well, hopefully see you next week, mate. Be great to catch up. Been a while since I've seen you. All right, well, the panel van out with a 2.36 in the 60. The Mazda is trying to get around him, but he won't get there. And a 1663 at 81 miles per hour to a 17.09 at 82. I wonder if that's got the old crossflow in it.
Stu, did you hear what I just heard?
Yeah.
A V8 high ace van.
Mate, you know what? I saw that come out, and I'm thinking, hey, this is going to be cool. We get some diesel power tonight. And then it makes that.
Reminds me of Con's Mitsubishi with the LS in it on the gas.
Now, we have had an LS van out here once before, but 1364 at 97 miles per hour. Get out of here.
That'd
Seriously.
be the quickest deliveries you could ever have. 16.5 at 88 miles an hour.
Oh, your back panel van, man. You just missed a panel van going down the drag strip. Well, that's a better launch there from the VF Commodore.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. A little bit softer off the line. 11.3, 127 miles an hour for the Commodore and 13.9, 103 miles an hour for the Ute.
It's time to stop, said Laser isn't losing parts, it's weight shedding. Love it. All right, Donald Baird back out in the Calais in the Aeroflow lane. 0-1-0 on the tree. I'll tell you what, it's a bit of a competition tonight between Don.
It is indeed.
And Dave Muscat.
12.9, 108 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane and 14.5, 96 miles an hour for the Rocket lane. Well, Commodore up against the Mustang.
I was just about to say, it's like across the road. We've got the LS up against the Coyote. For the haters in the Aeroflow lane, that beautiful looking black VF. 8.30 to the half track. Cruises on through with a 12.40 to a 13.08 for the Mustang. Check out this Falcon.
Yeah, absolutely. Tidy as, isn't it? Up against the Triton.
Well, they say you can't frighten a Triton. If I could kill myself laughing right now, I would, because what he's up against in the opposite lane, I'm sure it would get frightened.
Oh. Falcon just turning tyres out of the hole. (12.3), 119 miles an hour to a 16.8 at 81 miles an hour. That's not too bad for the four-wheel drive.
Geez, that's quicker than I thought. Yeah, it's time to stop. It did make it down the drag strip. All right, Brian out now from Dialed In Racing in his Super Street. Commodore. Now this car is being set up for nitrous. I don't know that he'd be running the nitrous tonight. I could be wrong. They may have sneaked it in.
Yeah, I haven't seen any purging of the nitrous or nothing yet.
No, I dare say he isn't, but at 12.67.
11.3, 134 miles an hour for the Commodore in the Rocket lane.
Now, also from Dialed In Racing, we've got Sammy Joe in the VE Commodore about to take on Brett Starchbury. Sorry, that's not Brett. Is that what I think it is? Geez, that Commodore sounds nice going down the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, it does indeed. 11.6, 129 miles an hour.
All right, we've got a Lamborghini Urus down here in the Aeroflow lane.
Wouldn't want to pronounce that wrong, would you?
No. That's why I had to listen intently to Adam, because he's up in the Euro stuff. I tend to focus more on the Jap stuff. Well, an 11.50 at 121.
And 12.8 at 70 miles an hour for the Rocket lane. Well, we got the two Mustangs sitting in the Burnout box.
Well, to say good evening to Bryce from Twin Lakes Automotive. How are you, brother? What's up, mate? Of course, we'll see Bryce out a little bit later with no fuss. A 13.48 for the Mustang in the Aeroflow lane to a 13.24 for the other Mustang.
Okay, we've got the Falcon or the Fairmont down in the Aeroflow lane up against Corvette.
Well, Dark 69 out with a 1.65 in the 60, but King 393 has got to do the chasing. He's not going to catch him, but an 11.06 with the 1. I'll tell you what, that's a very, very consistent car.
It is indeed, isn't it?
Isn't it?
And previously, he used to come out, it was always running high 10s.
Yeah. All right, the Nissan 350Z in the rocket lane. Little bit of 6-cylinder action. Oh, great run in the Aeroflow lane. 10.49 at 1.33 as the Falcon rips it up in the Burnout. He's seen the Holden do it and go,
Yeah.
I can do that too. Well, guys, we're not too far away from having some very quick cars make their way out onto the quarter mile. Yeah, I agree with you, Panel Van Man. It is a beautiful looking car, isn't it? Yeah, my apologies. Brett Stutchbury coming out now. Yeah, Brett Stutchbury from Dialed In Racing. High 9-second car for Brett, taking on Stephen Scopoletti, 454 big block. And I'll tell you what, if you're here at the track, you've got prime position because, Mark, I know you love the sound of that big block.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that car, Brett's just so well set up. And another 9.55 at 147. Whoa, that is cranking.
Absolutely. And 10.4, 131 miles an hour for the two-door Monaro. Well, nice, sharp, quick burnout from the HJ. Jay Savello straight in and staged.
G'day, ads. Welcome to the live stream.
Well, Joe again, great reaction. But HJ runs through 9.8, 140 miles an hour. And 11.7, 115 miles an hour.
I'm wondering, is that car got a turbo in it?
The,
or is it the yellow HZ?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because, man, that looked sensational from up here in the studio. Check out this Commodore, though, Mark.
There's a bit of driving in that one, wasn't there?
Absolutely.
164, 60 foot. Goes through 9.2, 161 miles an hour. Wow. Big top end.
Tell you what.
If that didn't blow the tyres off on the line, that would have been a great ET out of that.
That was crazy. I didn't expect that out of that car.
No, no. Well, we've got some really good cars running through, even though all our street cars are sensational, but these are sensational cars.
Well, that car was sensational.
Yes.
I mean, as we always say, Mark, to do what they're doing on this street prep is just takes a lot of work,
Yes.
a lot of money, a lot of data. John Else coming out now in the Commodore.
Oh, he's up against the Capri.
Yeah, Stephen McAuliffe from Shipfright.
Because we're used to seeing Steve out here in his black HSV Maloo ute. It's really kind of takes me back to when I first started commentating here at the track, Mark, when we used to do the invitational entrance. We get a few of the super sedans come out and have a crack on this street prep. Well, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, guys, you do not want to move away. And if you're here at the track, guys, you are in prime position. Oh, man, check out this thing.
Let's go. Wow, good stuff. That's a lot better getting those cars down there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, it's a bit of a handful for Steve. Stephen McAuliffe.
Yeah, the Capri did move around a little bit, but the VT, absolutely sensational, out like a rocket.
I'm interested to see what this Escort's going to do.
Staged a little bit crooked. But got off the line, got it out, got it straight. Good pass.
Yeah, not really any hint of tyre slip out of that car too much either. It looked really nice off the line.
Yep. Don't think he hit it too hard because it only went 1.5 in the 60. So, yeah, it's a little bit soft off the line.
Oh, yeah, two of the supercharged Harleys from Darkside Customs. I mean, they sound fantastic up here in the studio, even with our cans on, but I'll tell you, out there, it would sound fantastic.
Absolutely, yep.
10.43, that's a great pass to a 10.97 with a 1. They've got their eyes in now.
Yeah, have indeed.
They've worked out what this track is like, what the bike's like.
Whoa. A little bit out of shape.
Check out this Harley going the rocket lane. 10.69, 137 miles per hour. Imagine doing 137 miles per hour sitting like that. Actually, I do know of one guy that would do that. That'd be Joe Curry.
Yeah. Yep.
Joe Curry would be the first one to put his hand up and go, yeah, I'll ride it. All right, got the Ducati down here in the Aeroflow lane.
11.2 at 131 miles an hour to an 11.5. 113 miles an hour.
So, guys, if you're wondering what is coming up here at Sydney Dragway in the not-too-distant future, well, next week we've got Aeroflow Race for real on the Wednesday night, and it is our comp night. So it will be dial your own. 30. Hopefully we get 32 cars.
I reckon we're going to have more than 32 cars wanting to, so if you don't want to get into it, get in early.
Now, on Friday, February 28th, we've got, thank God it's Friday, it's our dedicated Burnout night, which will be happening here. And, of course, we always get a good crowd in for the Burnouts. So that's coming up on the 28th. Now, on Sunday, March the 2nd, we've got an IHRA test and tune. And then Saturday, March 8th, we've got Day of the Drags 2025. So if you're really into your nostalgic drag racing, so front-engine dragsters, maybe a nitro front-engine dragster.
Yep.
Definitely make your way out to that. So that's Day of the Drags, which is coming up on Saturday, March 8, here at Sydney Dragway. And then on Saturday, March 22 is our next round of the New South Wales Championship Series here at Sydney Dragway. And if you haven't got your entries in, guys, make sure you get them in. Right, Michael Richards coming back out now on his Suzuki Hayabusa.
It's a good little pass, this one, isn't it? It's a bit of nostalgia stuff, like early model performance bike up against a later model performance bike.
Yeah, Brett Copping in the Aeroflow lane on board the Suzuki GT750. Now, Brett's generally very, very quick on the lights. Well, Michael Richards out with a 1.40 in the 60 this time. And a 9.01 with a 1 at 147 miles per hour. So the miles per hour there.
Yeah, and 14.0, 78 miles an hour. I dare say this is probably not his usual GT750, the one that runs down into the 10s. Maybe they just bought another one of the bikes out, one of many.
Maybe they're playing with something with something. Now, Shane Copping his brother out now on the Kawasaki H1500. These boys come from just north of Hornsby here in Sydney. And a nice run on through with 13.79 at 94 miles per hour. As we're back into the cars, and Dave Muscat, well, the last week he wasn't too crash hot on the lights. This week, he seems to be back to where he normally is.
Yeah, he's trying that a little bit harder. And he's up against the Falcon in the rocket lane.
Well, that Falcon sub 2 seconds to the 60. Nice and straight down the rocket lane. A nice 10.86 with a 5. That's a great pass from the Falcon. Dave Muscat running on through with a 15.63 at 88 miles per hour as King 4 Litre makes its way back out. It's a very tough Falcon.
He's up against the little Dado Ute. Looks low and mean.
Oh, I love the look of that Datsun Ute. Yeah. I reckon it looks seriously cool.
Jesus, Falcon comes on strong top end, doesn't it? Back out of it again. But mid-track, that's just full on.
Yeah, 6.16 at 125 to the 8th mile.
And then it goes through 10.6 at 79 miles an hour. And 18.9, 69 miles an hour for the Dado. So this Astra's got, I looked on the back window, bloke's advice or something on it. So I'm not sure whether it's a club or something.
Bloke's advice is about getting guys to talk. Obviously,
yep.
You know, suicide is quite a big thing for
Absolutely. Yep.
a lot of families around Australia. And I know a lot of guys in the burnout scene, they run that sticker a lot in their cars.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, I reckon we're going to try and get Johnny Habib to come up here to the studio. So, Johnny, if you're out the back, make your way up to level 2 into the studio. Come up and have a chat with Mark and myself, if you can.
Well, 12.8, 115 miles an hour to a 12.3, 114 miles an hour.
All right, the A90 Supra out in the rocket lane.
Up against a Mazda.
Now, there's been a fair bit of talk through the press, and look, I see it as rumours. I don't see it as actual set in stone, but apparently Toyota and Mazda might be collaborating on a new sports car for the future.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it would be. To me, it's all rumours at the moment.
Yep.
But it's been all over a few of the social media car pages that I'm on. So we'll have to wait and see. Because, I mean, there's the big thing, too, is that that's the BMW powered. Be interested to see what they do in the future.
Yep.
With that car.
It'll be interesting to see who takes, like, we've seen that through many years of different manufacturers sharing cars.
Yes.
Be interesting to see who would have the leading part of it, you know, what type of car that they would be using, you know.
I got a sneaky suspicion, well, that's a bit of a hard one because Mazda are such a small company, but a lot of what they do in the background, they do a lot of research and development. Toyota, on the other hand, being the big conglomerate that they are, and you know, with the amount of technology and everything they've got at their disposal, I'd probably go on a limb and probably say Toyota would probably be more inclined, but I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, and I'm thinking the same way as you because, you know, like you look at Toyota, they're trying so many different powertrains, electric, you know, bios, all different types of fuels, and you know, so it's yeah.
Well, the similar thing is too with the BRZ and 86.
Yep.
I mean, effectively, it's a Subaru motor.
Yep.
I don't know whether Toyota did everything else, but it's a Toyota motor. I would love to see one of those with a Mazda 4-cylinder in it, like if it can fit like a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder. I don't think it'll happen because Mazda have moved away from that side of things and more focused on the premium side of the market. And as is evidence, you know, SUVs, premium like top money stuff without spending X amount, heaps of money, like you would if you were to go out and buy a Euro car. So it's interesting times ahead.
I know what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a Supra with a V8 registerable on the road from the factory.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
They're going to race it, so.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think, you know, that's the big thing. You know, I think it should have a V8 or have an option of a V8.
Yep. That's what I liked about homologation, you know, like back in the earlier days, the VKs and and so on, that they had to have that 500 car homologated before they were allowed to race them. So, it made sure that you were racing a car that's on the road.
And I think the other thing about that too, and if you look at the flip side of that as well, Mark, that if in the future, in an ideal world they did do that, imagine what that would transfer here to the drag strip.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen all the Commodores and Falcons over the years, V8 ones that go blisteringly quick. A V8 powered Supra, to take them on would be amazing. It would be absolutely sensational. Now, the other thing that's actually caught my eye recently on YouTube and Facebook is Randy Meyer Racing over in the US. They've been testing their injected nitro funny car.
Okay. Yep.
And look, I'm still learning about that. But obviously, a naturally aspirated nitro motor with fuel injection instead of running the supercharger.
Yep.
And they're running against the top alcohol or pro alcohol races over in the US and still running 5 seconds out of this thing. So, it's exciting times ahead. I mean, I think it's a great concept.
Yep.
Other people disagree, and that's fair enough too. Everybody's got their own opinions. But I think one thing I love about the drag racing that I commentate on with Steve at our track champs and some of our big events is variety.
Yep.
And I think variety in drag racing is the benefit of our sport.
Well, and look, like if people weren't trying different things outside the box, we wouldn't be where we are now.
No.
With the horsepower figures, the technology that everyone's using, because there are guys out there that's just trying different things.
Yeah.
So, it's the more things that we trying, like it's just producing the power that we're looking for.
And I think too, a lot of the cars these days, some of the manufacturers are backing away from V8s and going to inline sixes.
Yep.
And we already get lucky enough to see, like exactly tonight with Poe's car, the inline six, 2J.
Yep.
And then we've got the A90 Supra here with the BMW inline six in it.
Yep.
And we've got a few Nissans that are out and about tonight with the sixes. So I think the advantage is that the technology is already there for the 8s and the 6s. I personally think that the 6s may or may not start to take over the 8s in the street scene.
Yeah.
I think it's only a matter of time.
Well, the amount of barristers that are out there now, they're producing monster horsepower. So you're right. There's some big stuff out there that very little, I wouldn't say very little, but not a huge amount of money is spent on them to produce that power.
Well, I mean, the Americans cotted on to the Barra very, very quickly.
Yep.
And to their credit,
tried to buy up everyone that was going.
Well, yeah, they did. But you know what? Looks like we might have a little bit of fluid down on track. We've got our track walkers having a look in the Aeroflow lane. See Joe Sabello just below us, about to take on the R35 GTR.
Yep, so Joe has gone back, packed the chute.
Yep.
So that was the reason I think he was rolled out before, because the car being teched as a parachuted car has to run the parachute no matter what time you're running.
Yes, and it's a top designated for top sportsmen.
Yep. What do you reckon, Stu? We might go to our big screen, have a few words from our sponsors. We'll take a little break, and we'll be back with you very, very shortly here at Aeroflow Race for Real.
Welcome back to Aeroflow Race for Real. Big thank you to Pepper Money, one of our great sponsors here at Sydney Dragway. As we focus our sights back on track, we've got the big Toyota Hilux taking on the Mazda RX-7, which has been doing a great job all night. And I think I put the commentator's curse on him by the look of it.
Yeah. You might have. He's going to get hosed down by the Hilux.
Yeah. Oh, well. You got to let the Hilux win at some stage.
17.5. But he's got the power button on and all.
All right, Panel Van Man. If you are watching the live stream, Panel Van Man, here is your panel van. Well, the panel van out with a 2.38 and a 60. Not sure what happened with the car down the rocket lane. 3.227 to the 60.
16.4, 82 miles an hour. The big manual panel van. To a 24 at 49 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one there for the rocket lane as we got the Mercedes. Got the Merc coming out in the Aeroflow lane. The Merc, the matte paint job, which Mark and I are not exactly a fan of. Other people are, but I really don't like them at all.
Nah.
Alicia Teal might say otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I had a message come through on the Rocket phone a little bit earlier, and look, this lady is well known here at Sydney Dragway. She's a good racer in her own right. She drives a 13B powered Mazda RX-7 race car. But Lydia, why are you not racing tonight? I mean, I was hoping you'd bring the Rotary out, but even if you brought the Patrol out, we miss you. I hope you're well. Hopefully we will see more of you throughout 2025 on the racetrack.
So we've got no explanation why she's not here.
Yeah, she's being slack. That's why. She knew that I was on... I reckon she knew I was on commentary tonight, so she's deliberately went, I'm not going to come out. I know you're on commentary, Rocket.
Well...
Donald Baird.
Don's gone for the big one, hasn't he?
He did.
A bit on the red side, but 007. Dave Muscat, look at that one.
Here comes the big Falcon. And he's got a bit of a drive job on his hands because Florida Haters is coming out. This guy is just starting to creep up on the performance in this Commodore.
Well, Commodore out in front of the moment, but the Falcon's chasing him down. But just doesn't get there. 11.9, 121 miles an hour to an 11.7, 119 miles an hour.
Yeah, won that by 0.07 of a second as well. So nice and close down the deep end. Brian coming out now in the Commodore, taking on this VF.
So I think you were saying, Stewie, that Brian's thinking about putting nitrous on this car at a later date.
Yeah, I know that Brett and him have been talking, and I know he's thinking about putting nitrous on it. I don't know when. I believe, and I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure that Brett did say to me that everything's in there.
Yep.
Bar the bottle.
Okay.
So when they're ready, they will put the nitrous on it.
It doesn't look like they're in a rush to do it, and why would you? The car's consistent.
Yeah. So they're going to put a small shot on it?
I think they might.
Yeah.
And Sammy Joe coming out now in her VE Commodore from Dialed In Racing. All right.
So our starter was just holding him up for a moment.
Well, no, 36 on the tree there for Sammy. The big BMW. 2.23 in the 60. That's pretty good for a big, heavy car. But Sammy Joe cruising on through with a nice 11.72 at 114. Well, you're talking about consistency. That's the way to go about it. We've got Lamborghini SUV back out. Wow, 035 on the tree down there in the Aeroflow lane. I'll tell you what, Mark, the reaction times are starting to get a little bit closer and tighter.
They are indeed.
Are we going to see that 000 go off tonight?
Well, we didn't get a ET for the rocket lane.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. All right, the Mustang up against the Triton. Oh, the Stang running on through, 13.13.
And 16.8 at 80 miles an hour for the rocket lane. That tried and surprised me how quick it is.
Yeah, it does with me too, actually.
Big, heavy standard car.
We've got Chris down here in the rocket lane. New twin turbos set up on the car and going for a 10.3. Unfortunately, no time
Left
recorded.
a bit too early.
Yeah.
But 11.3, 130 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. All right, got the two Mustangs up against each other. So not a real lot between them in the 60.
Oh, we've got FDL coming out now. This car has got water to meth on it.
Sounds addictive, doesn't it?
It does. Well, drag racing is addictive, and let's face it, when there's, a little bit of that good stuff in there,
Yeah.
why not? But tell you what, this Falcon down here in the Aeroflow lane, I've been really impressed with this car this evening. 1.66 in the 60. It looks fantastic going down the Aeroflow lane. Nice 11.22 at 122 as the Nissan 350Z comes out up against the four-wheel drive. Of course, later on in the year, we've got a theme night coming up. It'll be our 4x4 night.
Huge nights.
Massive.
Yep. Diesel nights and 4x4 nights are just absolute sellouts. We've actually had nights we've had to extend them.
We have.
Have had another night the week after. It's just so full on.
I really hope it happens again because I'll tell you what, they're great people to interview, providing they keep it clean, of course.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are country boys or country girls. Actually, one thing I have noticed on the road, on the subject of 4x4s,
Yep.
the amount of Suzuki Jimneys that are getting around.
Yeah. My mate's just bought one. He just tows it behind his Winnebago.
Yeah.
And but he reckons it's a great thing. He just drives it everywhere. Like, he's got one of the $200,000 Jags and he's Hilux as well, but he'd rather drive that than drive all the other ones.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. There was a girl who was driving through Waitara outside work the other day. It looked like a brand spanking new Suzuki Jimny. It was clean as a whistle, and it had, the girls 4x4 on the side because it's a girls 4x4 group that get around Sydney and Newcastle, and they tend to go out. And look, that's massive. That's actually quite a big 4x4 group. I didn't actually realise how big it actually was. Well, it looks like we've got a bit of a problem for the Falcon down there, Mark. So, all right, the big 4B out, 2.58 in the 60. The big cab chassis doing its thing down the rocket lane. That big diesel power running on through a 1748. That's pretty damn good.
It's not too bad for a big, heavy car.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, Dark 69 is back out.
This would be a good pass. It's HX Ute. It's around the low 11s.
I think the conditions out there at the moment, Mark, are pretty much perfect.
Yeah, track's still good, still holding heat.
Oh, Dark 69, a little bit of attitude off the start line, 1.63 in the 60.
The Ute's coming back at him.
He's trying to run him down, but he won't get him. 10.99 with a 4, 127. Great pass from Dark 69, equally as good on the rocket lane, and 11.35 at a 120. Check out Mental Q. That is gorgeous.
That is absolutely sensational. That great coat of paint on it.
I was looking at the interior and the wheels.
Yep.
Johnny Habib downstairs, which means we're about to get in to some more testing.
Look what's coming out.
Poe the Show Tongue is out in his 2J equipped Supra.
And he's up against the Dado.
Yeah, with the Barrett turbo in it.
Jeez, I love the sound of 2Js. They're just absolutely sensational.
They're unreal. Of course, Gas Motorsport, based over at Wetherill Park, not too far away from the track. Absolute legends when it comes to the 2Js, but they've really made a name for themselves as well with their Pro Mod Mustang, driven by Zoran Gargic.
Yeah. Can't he steer a car?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think they might be doing the engine as well for Eddie Harwark as well in his RX-7, the Enviro Waste Services car, which has been driven earlier this year by Paul Mahiat. All right. Well, that's a little bit better from Poe.
Yep, absolutely. But that Dado just out and gone, dead straight.
Just the way that Dado just hunkers down in the back end.
Yep.
It looks sensational from up here in the studio.
Yeah, it's really, really well set up in it.
We talk about little things in drag racing, and we talk a lot about the 60-foot and just how important it is. But when you got a car that's not moving side to side, it's doing exactly what that car was doing, hunkering down in the back, straight ahead.
Okay, that's...
All right, Stephen McAuliffe coming out now in the shift right Ford Capri.
Oh, that's no good.
No.
Got the Escort going back out.
Oh, I can see Con from C&V Performance down there, Mark.
Yeah, it just means a VT.
Oh, yeah, big guns on its way out.
Absolutely.
That's better, Steve. That looked good.
1.2 in the 60.
Yeah.
That's hooking up, isn't it?
Oh, that looked really nice. All right, Johnny Elfs. This car has got a lot of history. It's also got a massive following as well.
As indeed. Like, these guys are just absolutely brilliant. They've put so much tech into this car. It is just a weapon.
We remember the workshop wars we used to run, and just the amount of races. I'm sure if you're in the other lane and you were looking over and going, oh, I'm up against John, you'd be like, oh, man. Ah, beautiful.
That was great. Drove it out a bit. 1.4 in the 60.
All right, Smoking Joe Sabello out
bit
now.
More healthier in the burnout, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot better. Gave it a little bit more jandle.
Oh, the VK coming out right behind him.
Yeah, this VK is just completely blown my mind tonight.
It's a weapon.
Oh, Joe out with an 0.58. 1.79 in the 60.
Yeah, it's totally different seeing the 1.3 60 foots and...
Well, 10.17 for the Rocket Lane.
Yeah, an 11.8, 113 miles an hour for Joe. Okay, Commodore into the lights. Goes out a 1.4 in the 60.
Wow.
8.7, 162.
Yeah. Put your hands together, Sydney Dragway. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, I said that surprised me. That absolutely surprised me. We're back into the bikes, and it's fantastic to have a whole heap of bikes here tonight. 011 on the tree in the Rocket Lane. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest up here in the studio joining us, and it's a great time for him to have him up here as well for the bikes. We've got Michael Riches up here. G'day, Michael.
How you going, everybody?
Mate, good.
Yeah. So in the Aeroflow, we've got a stage 2 Pro Charged V rod. You got out of the hole really nicely. You got out of the hole really nicely there. And he'll run on 3 for a 10. He'll run on 3 for a 10 too at 141. That's a big bike to do 141 mile an hour. It's pretty impressive. against a 10.7 at 132.
Mate, we're so lucky tonight. As I mentioned, we have got the Dark Side Customs crew out here. They brought a whole heap of their Harleys down. We don't get to see them very often.
No, we don't. It's very impressive what these guys can do with a Harley. Here we've got another pair from Dark Side on the line here. Two V-Rod. V-Rod versus a Sportster, actually. It's a Stage 1 Pro Charger in the Aeroflow lane, and the Sportster's a Stage 2. 10.6 and a 136 versus a 12.3 and a 116. Impressive in the Aeroflow.
Yeah, it certainly is. So how did your bike go tonight? Were you happy?
When I come out on a Wednesday, I set myself a little goal of running an 8 number, whatever it is. So we went 8.97 tonight, and when I do that, I sort of feel like that's good enough for the night. And I've had my practice, and just sort of come out and then socialise for the rest of it. I love Wednesday nights. It's Race for Reals, something that I started out doing 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, nearly, Stewie. I got addicted to it, and here I am racing mod bike now, just cracking into the 8s, which has been something I've been trying to do for a few months.
So on the bike, up top end of the track, how much you're fighting that bike to keep it going straight?
I'm fighting the bike way more. Whoa, that was a big wheelie from the rocket lane. He got up to about a 10 o'clock position there, I reckon. I'm actually fighting the bike way more in the first 330 feet. Once it gets out and into third gear or so, it just wants to go straight. I just tuck in, and when I see that red light, I shift a gear, and it's leaving at 2 Gs, doing a 1.31, 2.2 G.
Yeah.
That's the bit where you got to hold on and wrangle the bike. You might have noticed that tonight my bike was pulling a little bit right off the line, and I worked out that I've actually pushed out a fork seal, and my front right suspension is 5 mil lower than the other side. So it's just wanting to pull to the right. So I thought, 3 passes is enough tonight.
Yeah, but with the early days of the bike, you were having clutch problems.
A few clutch problems. Then it went. We had a fuel problem. We pulled the fuel system apart and found that there was a bit of running MS 109. You get a bit of build up in the fuel system. The injectors were getting blocked, particularly on the number 4 cylinder. We eventually found that we cleaned all the injectors and the fuel lines, and the one thing I didn't clean was the fuel regulator. And it took us a few weeks. It took us a few weeks, and I figured it out, and I took that apart, and that was the big problem. We were only at 43 psi fuel pressure when it was meant to be at 50. Cleaned that up, put it back together, and ever since it's been running high 8s, low 9.0s on a low prep, which I'm really happy with. Yeah, I'm not trying to run a PB on a Wednesday night. It's just seat time, tree time, and getting 60-foot practice.
Yep. So it was a bit of a learning curve for you with this bike?
It was a big learning curve. I didn't really appreciate how big a difference, even 0.2 of a second in the 60-foot is. I was on a bike that was doing on a really good day a mid 1.5 in the 60-foot.
Yep.
And then that was on a hand clutch. Coming out onto a hand slider clutch, and knowing I got to trust the clutch to lock up at the right rate. And that was hard to get used to. Initially. Once I figured it out and realised I could hold on, and the bike wasn't going to kill me, I was all right. And now I'm actually starting to turn the clutch up a little bit. I did at Willowbank, and then I did again at Heathcote Park on the weekend when I raced in their bike Mayhem. Let's just say we came back with a few trophies. So.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
congratulations, mate.
Between me and Wally Hoster, we brought home 5 of the 10 trophies. So
wow.
Great stuff. That is brilliant. So with the adjusting of the clutch, is that getting you better your 60s?
Yes, it is. When I bought the bike from Queensland and had the setup there, it had been tuned to race their Kenda 660 and for the 570 index. So the clutch was a little bit soft, which is a good thing. When you're learning a new and bigger bike. Obviously, something too aggressive can actually be a disadvantage. It can scare you, knock your confidence a little bit. So now, I've put some more weight into the arms. I've increased and shimmed some of the static springs, so it just bites it out of the hole a little bit more. We're trying to work it into a 1.2 60-foot. I got 131 at Heathcote, right on the cusp there. But a good prep track, and I'm hoping I can get that. Hopefully an 870 with that.
It must be really exhilarating. Like when I was racing in my car, that used to go out at one free 60 foot,
Oh, yeah.
and that was sensational because you're pinned. But on a bike, you got no seat behind you to hold you there.
There's a lot of holding onto the handlebars. I didn't appreciate how much I'd actually have to hold on with my arms on this bike, whereas the last bike I was fine just with legs and
Yes.
sort of core. The first pass that I ever brought it out here was a Wednesday night, which maybe I should have waited for a chest and tune, but I spun the tyre, I sat up, it threw me back, and I shut the throttle off because it got sideways very quickly, and it took me actually a little moment to get my confidence back and to ride it properly. These bikes there is no riding it at 50%. With the clutch and how it works, you've got to leave 95% of that throttle or more wide open on that two-step, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, it was a big learning curve, and I'm starting to get my head around it now, where I'm feeling confident. Yeah.
So what's next for the bike, Michael? Is it more about the consistency now, or is it something towards the future you might
to make it faster? However, obviously racing in mod bike and a dial your own class, consistency is key, and the whole idea of that is to find a tune and a setup that you're happy with, and then ideally not change it all year, and just learn that setup. And I mean, to be successful in mod bike in New South Wales, you sort of really need to be within half a tenth of your dial in and cutting an O something light to even be in with a look. So yeah, the plan for the rest of the year is consistency. There is some bike building and engine building happening in the background. That's going to be very exciting with some of the other motorbike guys. And yeah, look, those bikes are going to be extreme bikes, and they're going to be quick. And yeah, that's the plan. Eventually, is to race an extreme bike.
That's exciting, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I want to race heads up on a pro tray and just ride it out the back door and not necessarily worry about breaking out. Yeah.
Mate, it's been a real pleasure for us as well.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
When you turn up on the bike, and it's just got better and better and better and better. It's a real thrill for us as well.
Oh yeah, no, it's always good feeling when you come out and you've made progress, because sometimes you just hit a plateau or you go backwards a little bit and you can't necessarily figure out why, and then all of a sudden, something will click and it'll get quicker, or you'll get a better 60, or something will improve. And that's what Wednesday nights for me are about, is practice makes perfect. Yeah. Yep.
Well, Mike, it's fantastic to have you here as well, mate. And as Mark said, we've watched your journey from when you first started to where you are now, and then eventually where you're going with Extreme Bike. I mean, Steve included as well. It's going to be extremely exciting for us to see it. And this is what Mark, Steve and I love. We see people who've started at the bottom, they've worked their way up, they're now in championship drag racing. Doesn't matter if it's New South Wales State Champs or a major event. They've made the progression, and that's what our sport's about.
And the biggest thing I can say is that if you're a street bike rider that comes here on a Wednesday night and you've been umming and ahhing, oh, maybe I want to race or something like that, come and see a track official. Come and see me. Like, the more the merrier. It's a really great day. The community of drag racing is unlike any other community I've ever experienced. Everyone's it's a family, and if you're on the verge of coming, just do it. That's what I reckon, and you'll love it, and it'll become something in your life that maybe you weren't expecting. So yeah, give it a try.
Absolutely. Well, it's fantastic to have Michael Richards up here in the studio. Of course, one of our mod bike racers, and a gentleman that is a fairly regular runner here at Sydney Dragway as well. We're getting back into the cars, and we've got another big full
So, yeah, it's the Euro's a lot less work for bigger horsepower.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen that Galano Engineering Volkswagen come out. Admittedly, that thing is like...
It's an animal.
That's balls to the wall, man. That's full roll cage. A lot of work done to it. And it's why it's the quick Mark 7.
Yep.
But, you know, you look at people like Parkatech, and then you look at West Ride Service Centre, who've just come out tonight with their car, obviously doing a little bit of testing, see what tunes they're running. You know, we've got FDL, which comes out fairly regularly. A lot of the Audi guys. It's so good for the community. But what it kind of tells me as well is that those people that know me know I'm a big Japanese car lover. You know, I love my Jap cars. But it seems to me that that side of the car scene has really dropped off. And I mean, like, it's jumped off a cliff. Whereas the Euro stuff has really started to bring itself back up and be, you know, if people want to buy a performance car, they're going that route now. It's a shame. I mean, obviously Mitsubishi don't build an Evo anymore. The WRX, and look, a lot of the comments that I read about the WRX, yeah, there's people out there that go, I'm going to keep my 10-year-old car because what you've got is not good enough.
I wonder, Stu, if it's a bit of an age thing too. Like the younger generation are into the more Euro stuff, where, you know, older fellas, the grey hair like me, you know, like, mate, we're still within our HSVs and, you know, like the GT Falcons and stuff like that. You know, like you're in a later part of life, so, you know, like, you own your house, you own everything, so you can splurge out on those types of cars.
Well, I guess, you know, a similar thing happens in the bike scene. We've still got Michael Richards up here in the studio. Michael, it's very similar when I see on the street. I make no secret, I go up to the Old Road Cafe a fair bit.
Oh yes, very familiar.
And it seems to me that, you know, even the Japanese bikes, you know, a lot of people are, look, there's people out there that are still buying them.
Yep.
But I see there's a lot of people that go out, or a young guy who's got his full license. You know, I want to go and buy a Ducati.
Yep.
I want to go and buy an Aprilia.
Yep.
Or something like that.
You got to have the bankroll to buy those, though.
Well, yeah,
they're not cheap bikes.
No, they're not.
And I think where the Jap bike still keeps its place in the market is the bang for buck. You know, for essentially 2/3 of the price, you can go and get a 200 horsepower Gixxer 1000 for, you know, in the 20s. Whereas you're looking at a 200 horsepower, let's say Panigale V4S, it's 65 grand. So there is a big price difference. Yes, there's definitely a very big, strong Ducati fan base out there. They're great bikes. I'm definitely not. I've ridden a couple of them and I've always really enjoyed it. But I think what keeps what you can get for a Japanese, say, 600 versus the new 650s that are coming out, the parallel engines. A 10-year-old 600cc Japanese Screamer will wipe the floor with like a 2024 R7 or a, you know, and that's even a de-restricted R7. So that's where they're still keeping themselves there. And that's why there's such a big secondary bike market still. It's a very strong. And things like Hayabusas, for example, are holding good value. I mean, if my bike was, say, a street registered 50,000-60,000 kilometre 2011 Gen 2 Hayabusa like it is, you know, I could sell that still for, you know, anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000, which, you know, for a 14-year-old bike that only started off at $27,000, it's a lot of value, and a lot of the new bikes just can't compete. Yeah. Because of it. And then the big killer, I think, is, and same with the car industry, has been emissions laws. You know, bikes are under the same restrictions, and obviously revving to 15,000 RPM, you know, we're on the border of what's acceptable for the emissions anyway, and now you see bikes being strangled with these parallel 650s and parallel twins and things like that. So, yeah, no, I'll always stay with a inline 4 Japanese bike because I love it.
I like the sound of it.
Yes, they scream. And look, to be fair, there's no real safe place for them or real reason to have know they're good fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, one other person we've got up here in the studio is one of our co-commentators and production guru, Adam Heron. I'll get Adam on the mic. Adam, we're just talking about how much the Euro cars have just exploded in popularity, and particularly mods, and we see it here at Aeroflow Race for real. Is there a main reason for that?
I'm not really sure. I think it's more that there's more market for the Japanese in terms of buyers of the Japanese European vehicles. A lot of them are also locked, computer locked. Bosch ECUs are, each time a new Bosch version comes out, you've got to crack it again. So it's more having a bit more like more of the Japanese now. 90s models and aftermarket ECUs into these European vehicles. You've only got one or two brands that you can work with, and then sometimes it's not really a cost-effective idea or cost-effective choice. It definitely is picking up, like the Cybex is definitely picking up in the European vehicles. But yeah, so you've got the Hell tax and things like that. It's a bit harder to.
I've just been very impressed with the Audis that have been out the last few weeks, just the amount of money that these guys are spending. Is that RX-7 driver needs to slow down the return road? It's not the racetrack, mate. You need to slow down. There is a speed limit on the return road.
Speaking of return, I've got a couple of hot HSVs here lining up.
Yeah, Ford haters down here in the rocket lane.
He's quite a regular here, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is.
Definitely loves his drag racing.
And I think we got that VF down there with the all PSI number plate. It's great to see some more VFs starting to make their way out. We've been a big league in the last few weeks. Of course, House of LS, which are based out of Yennora. Those guys do a lot, not just for Halil, but they've got a lot of other cars that come out of their shop as well.
They're starting to come back out of the barns. They're starting to realise maybe we should drive them a bit more.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, look, those types of guys too. Like we're talking about pulling horsepower out of a car. LSXs, they're getting these things down to 9.2. They haven't broken the motor open. They've just bolt on and tuning. So like 9.2, 160 miles an hour is going.
It is going. Well, Mark, this is going to be a good race. We've got Sammy Jo up against her partner Brian. Of course, these two race each other fairly regularly in Super Street at our New South Wales State Champ rounds. But of course, next week we've got our comp night, which is Dial Your Own. They could be racing each other next week.
Well, I would like to see if they both got to a final and one loses, what it's like when they both get home.
It might be the chore challenge, if I win, you're doing the lawns.
What's for dinner, darling?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Anything else, dear?
Well, I think Sammy Jo just psyched him out. A bit of a red light there for Brian. 11.70 to a 12.38. Brian just looks like he's slightly down tonight.
Yeah, two very good races. They're both
And two
really consistent and two great people.
They are,
Yeah.
exactly right. Two fantastic people. Well, it's been so great tonight to have Johnny Habib and a few of the cars from No Prep Kings out here tonight doing a little bit of testing. And a big thank you to them as well and their crews for doing what they did tonight.
And I love walking in that gate and just seeing what we had out in the car park. That was sensational.
Oh, that just brought a smile to my face when I saw Poe coming.
Yeah.
Of course, Poe also runs an event called Grudge Kings. It's a really, really fun day, that event.
Yep.
I think as you were saying, he's a wonderful bloke. You can have a genuine conversation with him, and if you have any issues or any suggestions, he's a wealth of experience and knowledge as well. So, which looks great for him.
All right, Dark 69. It's been turning heads all night, and he's taken on the Lamborghini. I'm wondering if this Lambo came straight off the showroom floor, Mark, and they've gone, you know what, let's see what it'll do.
Well,
wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't be the first time. Like, we've had many a Porsche just virtually straight from the Porsche dealership run out here and cut out a couple of good 10-second passes.
Actually, speaking about Porsches, we haven't seen the red GTST or GTS out for a little while.
Well, the vet's out at 1.760.
Between 11.3. Just down to the reaction time for both those two.
So the vet broke into a 10-second, which I must say from previous, that thing was fairly consistently in the 10s.
Yes.
So maybe he's just blown the cobwebs out of it. I haven't seen him for a while, so.
Probably just a bit out of practice as well. We've got the XE Falcon down here in the Aeroflow lane, about to take on the Mustang. Australia versus America. And look at the Falcon go, stretches its legs, cruises on through 11.11 at 122 to 13.43 for the Coyote.
How well set up is that Falcon? 1.560 foot.
Look what's down on track.
We've got Chris Pante in the rocket lane versus Dimitri in the Aeroflow lane. Bit of a grudge match going on against the mates, both in RS6s with a bit of a peppy tune in them. Both sitting across the other line in 7 seconds, both finishing through. 10.4 at 136 to 10.8 at 133.
Just that 60 foot, 1.78 in the rocket lane.
Yep. You can see the comparison between the two, that little bit better in the 60 foot shows at the top end of the track.
A lot of it now with like the new software, you can do boost by gear and boost by launch, so you can turn up to the point where once you break an axle, just turn it back a little bit.
You only broken one, you turn it up, get the other one too.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong.
All right, this is going to be cool. Four-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. Cab chassis versus cab chassis. What a great way to promote our 4x4 night.
Absolutely.
Later on in the year. That's going to be massive. I know there's a lot of shops up in Newcastle that have got some tough 4Bs. Hopefully they bring them down.
Saw the reverse lights and I thought he had a brake.
It's on trans brake.
Yeah.
Well, 2.65 in the 60 for the rocket lane.
So what's been about Dubai, I was watching a video yesterday, these Nissan Patrols with the RB26, RB30s and everything, like two wheels up to Sandy.
Yeah, they got that super quick one up to Queensland.
Okay.
And it is a weapon. Yeah, absolutely. I think that thing was running in the 9s.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Constant 11.
Well, we've got Lexus up against Nissan. Of course, there's been a lot of talk through the news. I'm sure a lot of people who are into the motoring scene have probably seen it. A lot of question marks over Nissan boys. Are they going to fold or are they going to keep going? Yeah, the merger with Honda doesn't look like it's going ahead.
Yeah, well, Honda would be a little bit shaky on that one, wouldn't they?
I just want to see what Nissan have up their sleeve to knock back an awesome financial investment.
We've got this absolutely mint-looking HQ down in our Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, that thing is gorgeous. So if anybody's got a photo of that car, let me know because that thing is hot. We're gonna get it sent to Darwin. Starksbury in the Commodore. 1.59. Top Fuel Street is on fire tonight. 9.57 at 147.3. Thank you very much.
And 13.0, 111 miles an hour. That car's been super consistent all night.
It definitely shows though how important the launch is from the beginning. Once you're up on that plane, you can definitely ride it out.
was on a small set of radials on that car too. And, doing fantastic job. Speak about no prep kings. Johnny Habib and the boys are back out. I know Johnny's been busy all night, so it's been hard to get him up here into the studio. But I'll tell you what, Mark and I and Adam have been super impressed with this car all night. That Barra 6 has been put to great use. And this should be interesting side-by-side pass, Mark, with Big John.
Like this car, power to weight, that little Dado.
Yeah, it's Daniel Saliba, who's behind the wheel. And Johnny Elves, otherwise known as Big Gun.
Daniel's second time ever drag racing.
Wow.
Really, yeah?
So the last week he was out here and
Yes.
had to finish early, so obviously he was a bit disappointed. He got the fever and then got taken away from him. But yeah, they came out tonight for a bit of redemption. They're trying to just working on the launch, so they might back out after the 8th. They might keep going, but yeah, they're just trying to get him a company to launch together.
That was much more aggressive on the launch there for Daniel Saliba. Big Gun though, wow. Out like an absolute rocket. C&V Performance, they know how to build a great car. I know, Con, I know you can hear me, mate. That looks sensational from up here in the studio, mate. Well done to you and the team. All right, Po Tung coming out now in the Gas Motorsport Supra.
Such a great ninja note to those two, Jays.
Oh,
You hear it and you go, is that Poe? And 9 times out of 10 it usually is.
Yeah.
Those gas racing vehicles.
they just full noise. They just sound absolutely singing.
Well, every time I come out to a drag meet and the gas boys are here, I always walk up to Zoran and I go, Zoran, when are you bringing the BMW back out, bro? Like, I know you love the Mustang, and I get it, mate, but I'll tell you what, your Pro BMW with the 2J in it, that thing is sick.
1.2 on the 60 foot.
Yeah, a little bit of time chatter there from Poe. A little bit better. He is running a radial tyre on that car. As we're back into the bikes.
That was his fastest run of the night. Well, I might drop off just to we're going to get ourselves ready for some burnouts.
Absolutely, I'll be down there. I hope you guys are ready for burnouts tonight because we've got no fuss. I can see it down in the staging lanes. I can see Bryce down there. I can see Caden. Hey, Caden, are you going halfway, brother? I can see you on the camera, man. We're going halfway because you know what they say, halfway, or you know what? It's great to see you two down here, actually, back at Sydney Dragway on an Aeroflow Race for real night. Geez, we've got a good lot of burnout cars out the back. I am keen.
Absolutely sensational. It's a good roll up in it.
Well, I'm going to make my way downstairs. So won't be too far away from jumping in as we see Daniel Saliba on the return road in the Dado.
Yeah, you can definitely see how they have turned the power up on that car. Those first couple of passes, it just reacted really nice. But then that last pass, it was aggressive. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Which is sensational. They
gave it a little bit of go juice. Daniel Saliba doing a great job, as are all the No Prep Kings. Guys, make sure you do keep up with No Prep Kings on Facebook. Like the page, keep up with all the information because Craigs and Johnny, they are key.
Well, tonight has just been giving you a little bit of a look at what it's going to be about, and it is going to be a sensational meeting.
It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
No, not at all. No, when you think the horsepower those guys have got to get to the ground and keep control of that car, it's a big, big thing.
Well, the bikes have been turning it on as well all night. As I mentioned, Darkside Customers, big thank you to those guys for bringing down the Harleys, the big supercharged Harleys. And of course, a lot of our other races. Great to see the Coppy brothers here again tonight too. Now, Brett Coppy on his previous pass got the bike down into the 10s.
Yep.
No, Keith, you cannot ride that bike, all right? So the good thing is he's standing next to the bike, so he can't actually hear what I'm saying.
He'll hear you.
Oh, no, he can't hear me because he's got those 2 bikes in his ear hole. So I'm safe. It just depends whether Trent, our IHRA official, says something to him, that's all, because then I've got to go. Oh, 1042 to a 1070. Oh, wow, that is cool. Who said drag racing is boring? Absolutely not.
Not at all.
Right, guys, I'm going to make my way downstairs for the burnouts. You coming down tonight for the burnouts? There's a Commodore in the burnouts.
Mate, I might come from a little bit of a wander down a little bit later.
You've got to watch No Fuss in action, mate. LS.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's old school. Brett Copping out with a .085. His brother Shane out with a .301. And the Suzuki GT 750 running on through 11.95 to a 14.02 for Shane. Well, guys, that looks like that is it for the racing side of it. We'll be getting into the burnouts very, very soon. Might get a few words from some of our sponsors. We'll be back very, very soon here at Aeroflow Race for Real. unfortunately, that tyre fire problem has happened again for No Fuss. But man, that car sounds strong. Because a little bit different to the old car. Whoops. But it's great to see Bryce back with a smile on his face and back doing what he loves. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Bryce in the Twin Lakes Automotive Commodore known as No Fuss. All right, Bargan coming out now. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Bargan. All right, next up on the pad, sponsored by Seven Sins Apparel, we'll have Diablo coming out. see if he can get it refired. That was on a killer skid. Well, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Diablo. Oh, so close to getting those rear bags off. All right, our next car to hit the pad. He's brought Old Faithful back out. Would you please welcome On the Sly, which will be coming out in a second. Let's put your hands together for On the Sly. Another really good solid pass there from that green Commodore. All right, next up on the pad, we've got Sus VP, which is about to come out. We've still got 2 minutes 30 odd left. Let's see if we can get this thing refired. I don't like our chances somehow. Don't forget, guys, if you're in the burnout scene or the street scene, don't forget, if you need parts for your car, Aeroflow Performance, check them out on Facebook or look them up on Google, guys, if you need any parts for your car. Well, that is a bit of a shame there for a Sus VP. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for him. He got out there and gave it a go. And that's the big thing, out there having a go. Well, no doubt they'll get that car back to the pits and have a look at it during the week. And hopefully we'll see Sus VP back here at Sydney Dragway doing what it does on a Burnout Masters. Burnout, Pat? Well, from Sus VP, next up, we've got this beautiful looking ute with the number plates 1 Sus VP. Well, a bit unfortunate there for one sus VP. The kettle has boiled underneath the bonnet. Well, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for one sus VP. All right, next up on the pad, we're getting a little bit more of the Blue Oval Brigade. We've got this green Falcon that is about to hit the pad. a great solid skid from El Cheapo Motorsports, Falcon. All right, next up on the pad, we're going to the VP Commodore. This one's called Skiddies. All right, it's got 40 seconds left. Let's see if we can get some tyres off Skiddies. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Skiddies. Hey, this was a bit of a surprise. Can I get a Jakey chant? Joe, go! Joe, go! bit of flame out at the bottom, having a go. Sydney Dragway, let's go mental for Jakey. Great to see Jakey back here at Sydney Dragway. The car sounds strong. Good on him. I remember when he first started. All right, guys, got one more skid. Caden is coming out now in no fuss. Now, I hope that Mark Thomas is downstairs for this one. It's great to see no fuss here at the track. Hey, on that subject too, if anybody has got a rear left brake light for a VH, could you guys get in touch with Bryce up at Twin Lakes Automotive? Or if you know anyone that's got one, so they can put it back in the car. It's great to see all the young guns stepping up into the burnout scene and really taking it to some of the bigger, more seasoned competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Caden couldn't finish the skid, but a fantastic tip in there from Caden. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight's Aeroflow Race for Real. Once again, a big thank you to Johnny Habib and the guys from No Prep Kings who are out here doing a bit of testing for their cars. To all our other racers as well, it wouldn't be Race for Real without you guys, and we will see you back here next week. Don't forget it's comp night next week. And it's a dial your own night. If you do want to come out and race, you can, if you don't want to compete. But it's going to be a massive night. Big thank you to my co-commentators, particularly Mark Thomas, Adam Heron, Michael Riches, and our fantastic production crew up there as well. To our City Dragway officials, guys, great job as usual. Most of all to the Burnout family, thank you very much, guys, for coming out and supporting the event tonight. We look forward to seeing you in the future. My name's Stuart White. We will see you next week here at Aeroflow Race for Real.